Tonight on Sports Junkies, the Giants are 3-1.
The Jets are not.
We take a look at the Giants' win cross country in Arizona.
And the Jets' disappointing loss in Baltimore. We've also got plenty of college football.
And once again, we're bringing back the Eliminator. I'm Rick Rosen.
I'm Eric Dolan.
Sports Junkies starts right now. Good evening. Welcome once again to Sports Junkies. I'm Rick Rosen, joined alongside Eric Dolan. Eric, another crazy week in the NFL.
Absolutely insane. Some huge wins and some really tough losses.
We're going to get to the losses in a bit, but right now we'll start with the wins. The Giants traveling cross-country to Arizona, where their last appearance was in a Super Bowl, the upset of the mighty Patriots. Let's go right to the highlights. Eli Manning trying to get his team to 3-1. We're going to pick it up in the third quarter. Kevin Cobb's going to hand it off to Beanie Wells. Take one of three, a huge day for Beanie Wells. Giants not too happy about that as the Cardinals go up 13-10. Eli Manning trying to come back. He's hit by Darnell Dockett. Clark Hagan's going to come up with the fumble. Giants down in the second half, backs against the wall, but they would prove resilient. Here's Beanie Wells, second of 3 touchdowns on the day. He would have 27 carries for $138 and all 3 touchdowns. Eli Manning would not go down quietly. He will find Jake Ballard with the toe tap in the back of the end zone, and suddenly it's a 3-point game with 3.5 minutes left. Manning trying to lead the Giants back across midfield. He'll find Victor Cruz. He's had 6 catches on the day, but none was bigger than this, and this was the play everyone talked about. He goes down, and the ball comes out. Did he let it go? Did he let it go voluntarily? Did someone hit it out? Was he touched? The refs didn't quite know, but they're going to let them play anyway. And on the very next play, Eli Manning is going to look to his main guy, who will probably end up in Hawaii at the end of the year, Hakeem Nicks. Just a monster game, 10 grabs and that touchdown. Giants go up 4 late. Kevin Cobb trying to lead a fourth quarter comeback. Not quite to Larry Fitzgerald, who had 8 catches on the day and needed 9. Webster's fired up. Fitzgerald's disappointed. Giants get the road win. They go to 3-1, putting them at a tie for first place in the NFC East with the Washington Redskins. Ryan Burns over to discuss it. Burns, did this go for the Giants exactly like they planned?
With Rob Wetham, I'm Ryan Burns talking New York Giants. Now, Rob, the team is now 3-1, but they probably shouldn't be. Break them down for me.
All right, well, Ryan, I got some good news for some Giant fans, and I got bad news for Giant fans. The good news is the Giants are 3-1 on a 3-game win streak, but the bad news is they haven't looked really good doing it. The fact is they needed to fake injuries to slow down a pedestrian Rams offense, and the Rams still haven't won a game yet.
Thanks for that.
And I'm sorry. And they also needed 2 late touchdowns and a lucky break to beat the Cardinals. They're not running the ball efficiently, and they're also not stopping the run, and that's just not going to cut it down the stretch.
Yeah, 21st in the league in rushing defense. I mean, this defense is mediocre at best right now. I mean, I know they went through a lot of injuries and stuff like that, but still, this is a team that relies heavily on coaching, especially on the defensive end, and it just doesn't seem like that they're getting it done right now.
Well, the irony in the whole situation is that I still see the Giants at either 6-1 or 5-2 by the end of October. Their next 3 games are all at home. They have a bye week, week 7. They play the Seattle Seahawks, who are not a very good team. They play the Buffalo Bills, who I don't think anybody's really sold on yet. And then they have a date with the Miami Dolphins, who, quite frankly, are not a very good team.
Now, with Eli Manning at the helm, now he's been losing a few of his receivers. Obviously, Hakeem Nicks looks like his main target right now. He's got Victor Cruz as well. What do you think his outlook is for the rest of the season?
Well, Eli Manning, the key for Eli is to limit the turnovers, which he's done a very, very good job as of late. He just needs to keep slinging it around, get everyone involved. The tight end Ballard has really stepped up with you saw the toe tap at the end in the back of the end zone. That was a pretty big play. I just think that the Giants need to continue in the right direction.
Now, you talked about the running game for a little bit. Obviously, Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw haven't been getting the job done. Do you think that's a little bit on the offensive line as well?
Well, of course. I mean, the offensive line play has been rather inconsistent.
Yeah.
Bradshaw runs hard, and Jacobs is a big thundering back. He's very hard to bring down. I really don't see any reason why the Giants shouldn't pick it up moving forward.
Yeah. Now, you talked about the upcoming games that they have against Buffalo and things like that. This is really the time for the Giants this season to really take advantage of how the Cowboys and the Eagles are doing right now. They're not doing very well. Obviously, Washington is doing very well. They're the only loss that the Giants have this season, so they're really the only team that they need to worry about. But with Michael Vick being healthy in a couple of weeks, if he's at full health, and if the Cowboys figure it out, those are two teams that the Giants are going to have to worry about. So this is the time to get a couple of games on them.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the second half of the Giants' schedule is pretty brutal. They have to go to New England. They have to go to San Francisco, who is playing very well at this point.
Yeah.
They play Dallas twice. They have a date with the Jets later, which it says at Jets, but, I mean, let's face it, they both play in the same stadium. It's just going to be really tough for the Giants to continue this winning streak if they don't start running the ball more effectively.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to obviously look at the passing game as well. Hope Eli can keep it contained with those young receivers, especially Victor Cruz, who's been, obviously we saw the play before that Rick was explaining, but he's also been showing a lot of explosive plays as well.
Well, the key is they have to stay healthy, and they have to keep getting the ball to Hakeem Nicks. I mean, he's a beast. He's up there with the likes of Calvin Johnson, Andre Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the guy is a stud out there. He's got huge hands, which helps him, catch the ball, hold on to the ball. Yeah. He's fast, he's strong. He's got everything that you look for in a premier wide receiver.
Yeah, we'll see what the Giants have for the rest of the season for us. Thanks to Rob. Now over to Danielle.
Thank you, gentlemen. 3 important NFL players have suffered major injuries this past Sunday that could possibly put their seasons in jeopardy. The Pittsburgh Steelers have announced that their star linebacker, James Harrison, will miss Sunday's game against the Titans. Harrison will undergo surgery for a broken right orbital bone, an injury he suffered in their Week 4 game against the Houston Texans. Coach Mike Tomlin says that he is out indefinitely and there is no timetable for his return. In the same game, Texans star wideout Andre Johnson went down untouched with a right hamstring injury. Texans coach Gary Kubiak said Johnson could miss anywhere from a few days to a few weeks. In South Beach, Florida, Dolphins quarterback Chad Henne hurt his left shoulder on a broken play against the Chargers on Sunday. His playing status is also uncertain for the Dolphins' upcoming game. However, team sources are indicating that his injury might be season-ending. This has opened up the possibility of the Dolphins signing former Jaguars quarterback David Garrard.
Thank you, Danielle. We're going to take a quick break on Sports Junkies, and we come back. Sacks, fumbles, interceptions. The Jets just were not very good Sunday night against the Ravens. We're going to talk about it and see what goes on going into their big matchup Sunday against the Patriots. This is Sports Junkies. Don't go anywhere.
Massive earthquake has rocked the city. West Metro disaster peace region has ever witnessed.
When a disaster strikes, time is a killer. The hours following are critical. The UN Central Emergency Response Fund jumpstarts relief efforts, which saves lives. Help us help in time. Donate now at rapiddisasterrelief.org.
There's just something about being outdoors.
Going hiking. Getting away from everything.
My family camps. We just love it.
Eat, sleep, fish. That's me.
You know, I can't imagine not having this.
But there's this bug. It's killing the trees.
The emerald ash borer beetle has destroyed millions of trees.
It lives in firewood.
You move firewood, you spread the beetle.
To our forests and our neighborhoods.
Help stop the beetle.
Promise you won't move firewood.
I promise not to move firewood.
I promise.
I promise not to move it to our campsite.
Or bring it back home.
I promise.
To burn it where I buy it.
I promise to protect the trees.
I promise. Will you?
Learn more. Go to stopthebeetle.info and promise you won't move firewood.
Diet and exercise are never easy. Then again, neither is dying. Type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and stroke kill nearly 1 million people a year. You can stop it starting right now. It's your life. Listen to your doctor. Eat better, get moving.
Welcome back to Sports Junkies. I'm Eric Dolan. This past Sunday, the New York Jets traveled down to Baltimore to face the Ravens. Two AFC champion hopefuls took to the field. There we see Mark Sanchez and Ray Lewis. What an angry man. We pick it up in the first. Joe McKnight decides to take it out of the end zone from 7 yards deep. He takes it, he slices and dices the Ravens secondary. He takes it all the way back. That's not secondary, that's their special teams. That is the longest play in New York Jets history, 107 yards. Here we are in the second quarter. Sanchez doesn't even see the hit coming. They would review it. It was, in fact, a fumble, and the Ravens bring it back for another touchdown. It is now 27-7. Still in the second, Flacco drops back, pumps one time too many, doesn't find Ray Rice. That's David Harris, and the Jets are now only down by 13, 27-14. We pick it up in the third. Jets are down by 10. Oh, another pick. Sanchez doesn't even see him coming. They take it back. That is the fifth return, whether it be kick, fumble, or interception, which ties an NFL record. The Ravens take the lead, win the game, and the Jets fall to 2-2 and third in the AFC East. I'm going to hand it now over to Danielle.
The New York Jets have encountered yet another setback this season after 2 straight defeats on the road. Following disappointing losses to Oakland and Baltimore, the Jets have lost one of their key defenders, outside linebacker Brian Thomas. Thomas is out for the season with a torn left Achilles tendon. He suffered his injury during the Jets' 34-17 loss to the Ravens Sunday night. Replacing Thomas won't be easy for Coach Rex Ryan, who said in a press conference Monday, quote, "I think we'll have a combination of guys fighting for that job. You can use 4 down linemen if you need to. You always have different plans getting in," end quote. The Jets are now vulnerable without Thomas and Pro Bowl center Nick Mangold, who is still out with a sprained ankle. Over to Rick and Mark for more Jets highlights.
Thank you, Danielle. Joined by Mark Spivak now talking about Jets-Ravens. Mark, no offense was good on Sunday, but the Jets were the worst of the two offenses. If I'm the Jets, how high is the panic meter?
The panic meter is off the charts right now for the Jets, coming off a big loss to the Raiders.
Off the charts.
And now, huge loss to the Ravens, a big emotional loss too. Offensive line looked like it was in peril all game. Rookie Colin Baxter looked confused. What the Ravens were doing, which the Raiders didn't do, is always play a man over him, whether it's Nada or whether they were rushing 2 linebackers in the A-gap. Baxter was confused all game.
Yeah, Haloti Nada kind of had his way, and the Ravens are now unbeaten in their franchise history against the Jets. Let's talk about Mark Sanchez. We thought this would be a huge year in his growth as a starting quarterback, and he looked good early on, but he really didn't have it on Sunday. Through 3 picks, all for touchdowns, he's just a mess.
Sanchez looked scared, and you know what? I think it was because of the offensive line again. They had to sub in Vlad Dukas, the second-year player out of UMass, who they spent a second-round pick on. He has looked confused and has been called out on numerous occasions for his lack of talent. And Sanchez knew that was happening and knew that the Ravens were coming for him all game.
Yeah, with Mangold down and Brandon Moore missing significant time in training camp, he's just now getting going. When you have to shuffle linemen the way the Jets did, you know it's just not going to work, especially with a defense like the Ravens, the way they confuse with their looks, with their fake blitzes. It wasn't going to be a good time, and Sanchez paid the price, just absolutely brutalized. But he's not getting a lot of help on the run game. Sean Green is not the stud that people made him out to be. LaDainian Tomlinson is not effective on the ground. The Jets ran 16 running plays. 15 of them were out of 2 running back or 2 tight end sets. Very predictable, very ineffective.
38 yards rushing. That's the Jets' total for the entire game against the Ravens, 38 yards. A team that's built around the run could only manage 38 yards. The way that they played on Sunday is the type of game that will get people fired, will get coaches fired, and will cause the teams to panic and shuffle up their teams. And if they have another game like this against the Patriots, we may see some personnel changes.
You got to think Brian Schottenheimer has to have fallen off. He's got Plaxico Burress, he's got Santonio Holmes, he's got Derek Mason, Dustin Keller, but he can't find any of them. He has no time to throw. Is Brian Schottenheimer's job in jeopardy?
Brian Schottenheimer's job is absolutely in jeopardy. You have Bill Callahan, a very experienced coach in the NFL and college level, who's the offensive line coach and assistant head coach. They're going to have to take a good look at him. There's been a lot of people calling for Schottenheimer's job, and he's on a hot seat right now.
The seat is about to get even hotter as the Jets play New England this week, possibly the biggest game of the year up to date for them. How do you see this panning out? The Patriots' defense hasn't been great either, but they always show up for this one.
The Patriots' defense has not been great. Their offense has been off the charts. With Tom Brady and Wes Welker putting up MVP-type numbers, the Jets have to be worried about this matchup.
Yeah, I'm really worried about the Jets going in. They could fall to 2-3 at that point. Not so good for a team that Rex Ryan said was destined for the Super Bowl.
Right, and Joe Namath even calling them out, too, for that.
Oh, Joe Namath was brutal. And when you get the wrath of Broadway Joe, you know it's never going to bode well for your regular season.
Absolutely
Mark,
not.
Thank you so much. We're going to go back to Eric on the desk. Eric?
Thank you, Rick, and thank you, Mark. Now, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're talking college football for the first time all year. Who wins the SEC, who took a huge step in winning the ACC, and which team from the Big Ten has national championship aspirations. That and more. You're watching Sports Junkies. Come on back.
Will I always be working weekends just to stay out of debt?
Is a great college for our kids?
Out of the question?
Is the American dream
out of our reach?
Not if we can help it. We're the National Endowment for Financial Education, a non-profit organization dedicated to helping people just like you get smart about their money. Log on to smartaboutmoney.org today and start taking control of your financial life.
Every pet comes with a unique set of hopes and dreams. And one wish shared by every new pet owner: a happy, healthy life together. Make that wish a reality with early and regular visits to your veterinarian. Vaccinations help protect your puppy or kitten from dangerous diseases. And regular exams help diagnose, treat, and prevent health problems before they become serious. Your veterinarian can also answer questions and offer helpful advice on training your new pet. See that your new pet grows up healthy and happy. Call your veterinarian today. This message is brought to you by the American Veterinary Medical Association and your local veterinarians.
Hi, I'm Rosie Greer. As a former NFL player, I know the value of teamwork. That's why I'm here with my friend and prostate cancer survivor, Charlie Wilson.
Each year, more than 32,000 die from prostate cancer. African-American men are 60% more likely to be diagnosed with the disease and more than twice as likely to die from it.
Caught early, this cancer is highly treatable.
If you're over 40, man up. Speak to your doctor about your prostate health.
The Prostate Cancer Foundation is leading the way in discovering better treatments and cures.
Together, we can take aim against prostate cancer.
Hi, I'm Mia Hamm. As a professional soccer player and a future soccer mom, I know how fun and rewarding sports can be. I also know how frustrating it is when you're sidelined by an injury. So I've teamed up with the American Association of Orthodontists to ask young athletes to play it safe when playing sports. I spent years training to become a world-class athlete. I know what it takes to become an expert on the field. Orthodontists understand this too. They're experts in their field, helping kids and adults obtain healthy, beautiful smiles. They want to help athletes prevent injuries and stay in the game. It only takes a second to get hurt, and too many athletes are risking injury because they're not properly equipped during games and practices. Wear the right protective gear, like mouth guards, face masks, and helmets. Your first line of defense against preventable injuries. Play it safe, achieve your goals, and keep smiling. Visit braces.org.
The Florida Gators took a serious hit in this weekend's game against their rivals, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Starting quarterback John Brantley was sacked late in the first half and was unable to return to the game, which ended in a 38-10 loss. Head coach Will Muschamp added after the game that Brantley had a lower right leg injury and he will not need surgery. Brantley, a fifth-year senior who waited 3 years behind Tim Tebow, has thrown for almost 1,000 yards with 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions this season. The Gators will start true freshman Jeff Driscoll at quarterback against the top-ranked LSU Tigers this week. Over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Danielle. I am joined with Mark Spivak, and we're going to talk some college football. Now, we had a slate of amazing games this weekend. One of the most important was Alabama traveling into the swamp at Gainesville and handing the Florida Gators a 38-10 loss. Is Bama for real? Can they make it?
Bama is absolutely for real, led by a bunch of future NFL stars on defense and the man to remember in the Heisman race, Trent Richardson at running back. 181 yards and 2 touchdowns versus the Florida Gators defense. They had their number all day.
Now, there's no question that the defense and the running game are superb, but what about the passing game? I mean, I'm not feeling it from the passing game. Do they have enough in defense and rushing to give them the national title?
They definitely have enough. A.J. McCarron is a fine quarterback for what they need to do. As long as he doesn't put up any interceptions, he throws a couple touchdowns, they are led by the rushing and by their defense.
Now, they're going to end up having to face LSU in the SEC championship game. What do you think happens in that one? Because they are both appearing to be huge powerhouses at this point.
That is a future brawl down the road. LSU is absolutely stacked from top to bottom. It is going to be an absolute smash-mouth game, and you can't even predict who's going to be the winner in that game.
Definitely. Speaking of impossibilities to predict, the ACC, out of nowhere, Clemson is now in the lead. They travel to Virginia Tech and win 23-3 to improve to 5-0 and first in the Atlantic region of the ACC. Where did these guys come from? I mean, 5 years ago, if somebody said that Clemson would be 5-0 right now, they'd be absolutely insane.
Clemson Tigers have been built up and led by Coach Dabo Swinney, who's taken this team just to immense talents. Taj Boyd at quarterback, stole him from the Oregon Ducks a few years ago at quarterback. Absolute athletic freak, 204 yards, 1 touchdown. Their defense held Virginia Tech to 258 yards and no touchdowns. It's the first time that Virginia Tech was held to no touchdowns at home since 1995.
There's absolutely no question that the defense is amazing. I think the most interesting part about Clemson is that they had their difficulties in the first half. There were picks, there were fumbles, and yet they come back, hand them to him 20 unanswered points, and take the lead. Now, one of the biggest games, if not the biggest game of the weekend, was Wisconsin giving Nebraska a rude welcome to the Big Ten with a 48-17 spanking in their home house. Now, what is next for Wisconsin? Are they the real deal?
National championship. National championship is what's next up for Wisconsin. They are led by Russell Wilson, who's absolutely taken his career to the next level, transferring from NC State. He looks fantastic in the Wisconsin offense.
So you think that Wisconsin is going to make it? Because I just can't see Wisconsin beating LSU or Alabama or really any SEC powerhouse at this point. I don't think that they have what it takes.
Every Wisconsin game I've watched this season thus far has just looked incredible. Russell Wilson knows what he's doing, and Monty Ball running the ball is incredible. In the game against Nebraska, 151 yards and 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns.
Now, that is a huge game, but I mean, we're just talking about Richardson. I think that they match up, and I think that a team like Alabama has the better defense. I mean, if Wisconsin does make it to the national championship, they won't even have their best player there, which is their fans and their crowd. Everybody talks about the atmosphere at their home field and how difficult it is to play. So you're telling me Wisconsin is going to make it all the way?
I fully believe Wisconsin shocks the nation and makes it all the way to the national championship.
Well, that is quite the prediction. I'm still going with Bama, but if Wisconsin keeps it up, I mean, you never know what can happen with them. Thank you very much, Mark. I'm going to hand it over to Rick.
Thank you, Eric and Mark. It's week 2, and not everybody survived week 1. When we come back, it's time for the Eliminator. You're watching Sports Junkies. Don't change that channel.
You spent years hard at work, building your skills and talents, raising your family. And lately, like me, you're probably feeling a need to help your community. You have the time to give, you have the capacity to care, you have the experience to contribute. And your country needs you, one of its greatest assets, Americans whose lifetime of knowledge and know-how will make the difference. So how can you impact the lives of others and change the future of our nation? Take what you learned in the workplace and apply those skills to your community. Shape tomorrow by being a mentor and tutor for children. Make independence a reality for people who need assistance and companionship to continue to make their house their home. Find an opportunity to use your skills and life experience. Make a difference today. Get involved.
At PlayGolfAmerica.com, you'll find everything you need to get out on the course and into the game. Because it's never too late to tee off.
Play Golf America!
Ladies, are you talking to your partners
about HIV?
2 out of every 3 new HIV/AIDS cases in women are among Black women.
Get informed, get tested. Early detection can save your life. If you test positive, seek treatment from a doctor.
Join the campaign to end Black AIDS, a partnership between Abbott and the Magic Johnson Foundation. Go to WeStandWithMagic.com, get resources, and become a member.
And join today, and thank you.
Let's see how far we've come. 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 Let's see how far we've come.
Welcome back to Sports Junkies. Well, it's that time once again. But before we go, we're going to make our picks for Week 5 of the NFL. 2 fell last week, 4 are left, but we're all going to make picks just for the fun of it. It's the Eliminator. Hey, Mark Spivak, who you got?
San Diego Chargers are joining the Mile High Club, and they're going to spank the Denver Broncos.
New Orleans over Carolina. Cam Newton, meet Drew Brees.
I've got the Monday night game, Chicago over Detroit.
Your New York Football Giants will beat the Seattle Seahawks.
Monday night game also, Lions over Bears. Calvin Johnson is as tall or taller than the Sears Tower itself.
Wow. I'm also going to go with the Giants over the Seahawks. The Giants look really good and really bad at times. The Seahawks look really bad all the time. I think this is a no-brainer. Eric, you're going against Burns in the Eliminator.
Yes, I am.
Spoken by a man, both men who are out of the competition. Well done.
I have one question for you. How do I get into contact with Sports Junkies?
Well, first you can come down to our show. But you could also get us at our email, sportsjunkies6@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook, WPTV6-sportsjunkies, something like that. And our Twitter is @sportsjunkies. You've seen all our Twitters throughout the show. Make sure you get at us, ask us some questions, and we'll answer them on next week's show. For everyone here at Sports Junkies, can you name everybody?
That's Rob, and that's Ryan, and you're Rick, and that's Danielle, and that's Mark, and I'm Eric.
Another show in the books. We'll see you guys next week here on Sports Junkies.